for more on what this means for current, future, and past borrowers like myself. We're joined by Douglass Sloan. He's the Principal of National Capital Strategy Group and VP of the DC chapter of the NAACP, a civil rights organization that fights racial inequality. Good to see you, and thanks for joining us. Let me just start with this. We were just talking about this earlier, but where do we stand on this order from President Biden? Because does it require approval? Is there going to be court cases? Because it's not a done deal yet, correct?
It's not a done deal yet. There may be some court challenges, but it's unlikely given that so many people have student debt. I think that they have estimated that 43 million loan borrowers will receive forgiveness of their student debt. So, you know, if there are any court challenges, it's going to come from the Republican side of the aisle, and it just is so popular with so many people now that it's just unlikely, not that court challenges have anything to do with popularity, but it's unlikely that we'll see any serious challenges to debt forgiveness program, especially given the fact that so many people, both Republicans and Democrats, received forgiveness for their PPP loans. So it's not a firm foundation to stand on to challenge forgiveness of student loan debt.
Well,
they already received it.
Don't get me started on the PPP loans. That's a whole nother can of whatever you want to call it. But that's a separate can of chaos, if you will. So let's stick with this one. If it goes through, when might it go in effect? Is it applied to this year's borrowers? Because obviously people who have borrowed have student loans, they could have graduated either last year or 10 years ago or 20 years ago. Who would be impacted by this?
Yeah, as I understand, it would affect people that still have not just started borrowing, but people that still have student loans. So you don't have to be in school to be a recipient of this program. You know, there are plenty of people in their 30s and 40s and some even 50s and beyond that have student loans. If you fit, we shouldn't be laughing at that, but we did, because it's true. If you fit into the certain income bracket, you can apply for forgiveness. And that means that you're making, as a single person, less than $125,000 a year, which is most American people, and as a couple, less than $250,000 a year. So, you know, being in school doesn't have anything to do with it. It is more along the lines of where you fall financially in your income bracket is determined upon if you can qualify.
Douglass, why do you think they picked that number, 125,000 and 250? I could make a huge argument that you're very rich if you're in that category and you don't need help. Or I could make an argument if you live in New York City, you're extremely poor. How did they come to that number specifically, you think?
Well, and I'm just guessing here like you, but I think you hit the nail on the head. If you are living in a large city and you're a family of four, say you're living in Washington, D.C. like me, or you're living in New York City or Chicago or Los Angeles, you know, perhaps 250,000 doesn't get you so far, given the fact that you're in a higher tax bracket and that your rent or mortgage is going to be through the roof and your cost of living is going to be extremely high. So when you take that into account, living in some of your larger urban areas, that money doesn't go as far as it used to. And believe me when I say that a lot of people are very happy to have that student loan debt forgiveness.
Right. I mean, obviously, who's unhappy, right, about having their credit card or student loan, you know, fees waived? Give me the flip side of this argument. I know you're on the other side of it, but stay with me on this. What is the argument that this isn't the right way to make college more affordable? Give me the argument why this isn't the right way to help those who perhaps need it most, and the money isn't going to those who really, really need it.
Well, on the flip side, you have people that didn't go to college, that still need help with their bills living day to day, their day-to-day expenses. And they're saying, well, you know, I decided that I would go out and start my own business. I didn't go to college, or perhaps I paid off all my student loans and I'm still working and I still need help. And they feel left out.
Douglas, we got a hard break, as we call it here in the business.
Understood.
I want to have more of this discussion. We're going to have you back again, Douglas Sloan, on the impact of this very important decision by President Biden. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.